Alicia here, out for my walk with Reenie, my adorable half schnauzer, half terrier, all Muppet. This is Sustainable Events Dog Walk, a short podcast from Positive+Impact Event Consulting, where you can get a quick nugget about sustainability for your events and event business while on a walk with Alicia and her dog Reenie. Sustainability is a big project, but we'll get there together, one little step at a time. I want to start a little challenge for myself. I want to see, I'll do a few of these probably, how can I take one subcategory of your event and apply it to each of the 4 pillars of sustainability, environmental, community social, personal health and well-being, economic, to show how you have the opportunity with any given area or challenge of an event to move the dial at least in one area. So today, I'm thinking nice, easy one top of mind is florals. So let's break down florals by each of the 4 pillars. And the purpose of this exercise in my mind is to show you not only do you have a lot of different mechanisms that you can utilize when you are talking with your vendors and talking with your clients or talking with your decision makers, that there's variables. In my view, the ease and accessibility with which we can move toward better choices is a huge factor in impacting whether we make them. So if you as the logistics master can look and say, here are a variety of ways to make this change, you are better equipped to find some way to make some change as opposed to throwing your hands up in the air and doing none. So looking at florals, obviously a lot of people jump in first thing and we can do some debunking. A lot of people say with florals that they're a bad thing altogether. We shouldn't have them because they are a waste, because they're going in the trash. They are this extra wastage item. And I would argue, because we're already working on events by that logic are already wasteful and pointless, because all they're doing is producing in-person community and connections, but it's all going to waste and it's all temporary. So I think maybe that's not a good enough argument. What if we look at it as all of these farms are already growing flowers? We're going to be supporting the community of farmers. What about how at least they're biodegradable? At least we didn't buy 100 pieces of plastic knickknacks to go to decorate each table that are equally going to waste but can't be composted. Let's give ourselves some grace that all of this is optional. All of this is a bonus to our human experience, and we can just be more smart about it. So I guess I'll go in order. Environmentally, yes, flowers they're not necessary, but there's lots of ways to do flowers that is environmentally better. If it is the springtime, don't order roses. Those are being imported from Argentina or other south of the equator warm places that can grow roses. Actually, it doesn't have to be that warm. You get what I'm saying. Making sure you're picking flowers that are in season, leaning on your flower vendors to let you know what local flowers are blooming, what local farms have flowers. That's reducing your mileage, your carbon footprint of the flowers that way. You're getting stuff that's actually growing in the appropriate season, and therefore hopefully supporting a population of pollinators, supporting a population of the local environment. However you can stay in that sort of fresh and local bubble, you're going to really support yourself. What are you sniffing, little dog? All right, Mimi. No? Oh, I see. So I think from the environmental standpoint, if we're saying, yes, we're doing flowers, then that's a good way to do it. After that, you can be eliminating plastic. So a lot of old school florists are using that freaky floral foam and a lot of tape. And a really easy way to move away from that is actually becoming much more viable and available are biodegradable pouches that you can put in where the foam would go, and they hydrate up, and you puncture them the same way you puncture the foam, so you get that stability. The one that I know of is called Oshun packs. And when you're done with them, instead of having this horrible floral foam that you have to deal with, and I don't know about you, but I hate touching those. The way they crumble under your fingers is very icky. The Oshun packs can go, I wonder if it's supposed to be pronounced ocean. That's funny. They can go straight into a composter. And so they can go away with your green waste. They can go to home compost. Come on, dog, we gotta walk. What are you sniffing? So that gives you an option to move away from
the waste materials and instead have the whole bundle, all the flowers and the pouches that they were attached to, go into the compost. That is, from the beginning there, the easiest couple of ways that you can hit on environmental. And those are all questions that you should be leaning on your floral team to support you on. Answer, be the experts. We want our experts to have the opportunity to give their expertise, and this is a great opportunity to do that. If you say, my clients want the look of roses, how can you give me that even though we're off season? That's where you're going to get the benefit of having experts around you. Next is community and social. With these flowers, hopefully they're all not going directly vase and all into the garbage. You're hopefully looking at gifting them away. There are lots of programs around the country and around the world where if you don't plan on giving them as gifts to your attendees or your clients, that they can be picked up and taken to local hospitals or senior centers, where you can be putting these flowers to good use for people who will continue to enjoy them during the length of their life. Another community effort that you can be doing is trying to stay local. Source your other materials besides just your flowers locally. Also taking into consideration whether you are using an allergen-heavy environment might be part of the accessibility of your program. So leaning on your florist to say, hey, do we have low odor or low allergen flowers that we can lean on? Or is it better to be more green and less floral with our live decorations? There's different modes of consideration for who's going to be seeing this. Also, if you want to go fully out into the consideration of inclusivity, are the communities that you're serving seeing any particular representation or symbolism in your floral designs? For instance, in the Mexican cultures where they celebrate Dia de los Muertos, the marigold is a symbol of death and the afterlife. Maybe the thing that you are raising money for with regards to, for instance, cancer research, maybe a bunch of symbols of death is not the angle you're trying to get at. So you can lean on your experts for that as well, lean on your community with that sort of information of whether there's any big symbolisms that you should be working with or not working with. So next, if we look at personal health and well-being, that comes back around to the high odor, low odor, high allergen, low allergen. Also working with your florist to make sure that their designers and their team have all of the safety gear that they need, that you are getting your order made up in a way that's reasonable for all of their care, making sure that they know whether the farms that they're utilizing pay fair wages, provide safe housing, are not in any way utilizing enslaved children or working outside of the systems of what we consider to be safe and reasonable work environments. And then that serves the same for your vessels as well. If you are ordering everything straight from a Chinese budget site, do you have the confidence that these are items that were made by people who were having all of their human rights represented and who are in safe environments and being paid for their labor and being worked reasonable hours, all of those things. So it's a lot of education, a lot of behind the scenes, and really leaning on experts and knowledge to decide, like, maybe it's more important that we don't pay as much this year and we don't find out about our vessels, but maybe in the future we make sure to be allotting more money to pay a local artisan or someone that we know about the labor practices of. And then lastly is economic. Economic is all about utilizing your local experts, encouraging your floral designers to rely on local farms and their expertise of what's going to be in season, what they should be offering. When you have the opportunity to invest with a floral designer who is a part of the community who you're representing by your event, if you have the opportunity to support a minority-owned business or a business who has a lot of connections locally or supports nonprofits that you also support, taking the time to make sure your money is going exactly where you would want it to go. It just takes a little bit of extra research or asking one or two extra questions. And that way, if you've decided everything I've listed up until now sounds hard or sounds inaccessible for this year, you can go back and deal with those things later, but you can do 10 minutes extra research to get yourself that knowledge and get yourself to supporting a business that you feel most confident supporting. And in amazing circumstances, there are also nonprofits that will come and pick up those flowers for you who you can support, and you can be getting credit for all of that on your marketing and all your materials as well. Feel free to share and educate with your community the efforts that you're making and the choices that you're making, because you are also tasked with educating your community. And that's another way that you are creating a benefit, is not just by doing the right thing, but also letting people know so that they know to raise their standards when they go to other events. Another idea for an economic benefit for the florist and floral designers involved. This one is a shout out to local Seattle florist Kinetic Botany. If you're using dried flowers or flowers that you have the space in your workshop to dry, making secondary items with your offcuts. In this case, Kinetic Botany is so brilliant, and they use their dried pieces to make holiday ornaments that can be used to decorate year round, because they're beautiful and multicolored. Is that something that you can work out as a souvenir gift for your event that you could either gift or sell? Is it some way that the floral designer can make sure to use what's not being composted? So in addition to using the best materials from the best sources, trying to use them all up, and then whatever isn't getting used, obviously going into the compost. There we go. Florals from environmental, social and community, personal health and well-being, and economics. If you have questions that you'd like me to think about and answer on a walkout with Rini, please send them in via my email or the form on my website. I would absolutely love to be addressing what you're thinking about. And if all of this is the tip of the iceberg and you'd want a lot more, and you'd like some personal care and creativity, that's where I come in with Positive Impact Event Consulting to work one-on-one with you to get into the nitty-gritty.
Thanks for joining me on Sustainable Events Dog Walk. I'm Alicia Druby, founder of Positive Impact Event Consulting, and I want to help you integrate sustainability into your event business so you're ready to make every event you work on more sustainable. See you next time.